Well, hey there, guys. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to the channel for this special Star Wars' The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2, open spoiler discussion. Now, just in case the title didn't give it away, we are going to be talking about the first 2 episodes of Star Wars: The Acolyte in full open spoilery details. So, if you have not seen The Acolyte episodes 1 and 2 yet, either understand that you're going to hear all about it, or just add this video to your favorites and come back a little bit later. Hello to everybody who's joining me already here in the live chat. Hello to Adrian and Michael and Patrick and Mika and Luis and everybody. Good to have you guys here as we are here to talk about Star Wars: The Acolyte. Now, give you guys a little bit of context. I did this earlier today on the John Campea Show. But, you know, for me, it's been kind of a roller coaster about where my enthusiasm's been. Like, they announced The Acolyte like 4 years ago, and I've been really, really excited about it. But then, like, 4 out of the last 5 Star Wars Disney Plus series seasons have been disappointing to straight up awful. Like, Andor is the only magnificent thing they did. Like, Star Wars for grown-ups is the best thing Star Wars has done since the original trilogy. But other than that, we had Book of Boba Fett, puke. We had The Mandalorian Season 3, which was disappointing. We had Obi-Wan, which was not good. Started out good, but ended up not so good. And Ahsoka, which wasn't very good. So, and then the trailers came out for Andor, or for The Acolyte, and I didn't think the trailers looked very good. Then we heard the first reactions say really positive things. I talked to a couple people that really liked the first 4 episodes they saw. So then last night I sit down to watch The Acolyte. Now, if you saw the John Campea Show earlier today, I was talking about it, and you guys know that I already said this earlier. It definitely has its strong points, and it has potential. It has potential. But it comes along with a bunch of weaknesses that have been a part of a lot of seasons of Star Wars television, such as it feels very small. The like pathetic 30-minute runtimes make everything feel disjointed. You never really get into a story flow. I mean, just as well as a number of other things, right? So that was that. So still really good, strong parts. Master Soul, played by Lee Jung-jae, who is fantastic. I like Amandla. I keep wanting to say Amidala when I say Amandla Stenberg's name, but it's not Amidala, it's Amandla. I thought she was quite strong. I thought she was very good. I like the context of the show. I like the idea of it being like a murder mystery set in a Star Wars background. I like that. So it's got these things that give it potential. So I'm still on the fence about it. But at the end of each episode, I'll at least say this. I looked forward to seeing the next episode, right? I mean, that says something, I think, that when every episode ended, I was like, oh, I would like to watch the next episode now. So at least that's something, but we'll see how it turns out. Okay. Let's talk about, we're going to spend most of our time just taking your questions. And by the way, guys, if you have a question, an observation, a comment that you want to make, keep it sticking on Star Wars: The Acolyte, please. We're not here to talk about movies in general. But if you've got a question or comment or observation or a theory, go ahead and use the super chat to send that in. The super chats are currently open, so I'll leave them open for another little while longer. Okay, so let me give you some of my thoughts. Let me start with some of the things that I thought were dumb. Okay, and these are, listen, let me say this up front. These are little things that I point out about every movie. Like, every movie's got some dumb little things. Okay. So let's just start there. I'll say that. First of all, very disappointed that Carrie-Anne Moss gets killed in the first scene. Essentially, the fight was awesome, but I was very disappointed she got killed in the very first scene. Now, that does not mean we are done seeing Carrie-Anne Moss, because if you guys remember, we talked about on our show like months ago when a bunch of the first promo images for Star Wars: The Acolyte got released publicly. One of those public images was this picture right here with Carrie-Anne Moss and the other 3 key Jedi. There's a younger looking Lee Jung-jae. There's the curly haired guy in the back who's the meditating, I forget the name of the Jedi Master. And then we got the Wookiee Jedi Master there. So that's clearly in a flashback. So we're going to see more Carrie-Anne Moss in flashbacks. But still, I was pretty disappointed that she got killed right away, because I've been really looking forward to seeing her in this show. And her scene was great. The fight was fantastic. Loved it. Great. So there was that. Okay. What were some of the other little like nitpicky things I had? Oh, I know. How about this? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. Somebody point this out. When Osha, is that, by the way, is that her name? Is it O-S-H-A? I think it's O-S-H-A. Correct me if I'm in the live chat if I'm wrong. So when Osha's out on the hull of the Trade Federation ship and she's fixing things up, you see the Jedi ship come flying in, right? Right? One Jedi ship. Am I wrong? There was one Jedi ship that came flying in as she is out on the hull fixing the Trade Federation ship. Okay, so one Jedi ship shows up. And yet, somehow, when it's time to take her back, she's on the ship. Where's Yord? Where's the other Jedi? Where are the two Jedi that came to arrest her? Where are they? I only saw one ship. Only one ship came. Am I wrong? Only one ship came. So then she gets put on that ship and gets sent back. And again, it's like they called a prison transport ship. They didn't even know if she was there, if they're going to arrest her. Why wouldn't they just arrest her and take her on the ship? And then her ship crashes like midway through the journey, but Yord is already back on Coruscant just hanging out. Like, how slow was that other ship? That made no sense to me. That made no sense to me. Also, I want to point this out because I pointed this out on the John Campea Show earlier today. Eli is saying something a lot of people are saying, oh, man, that's so unrealistic. Fire in space. We've seen lots of fire in space. Lots of times in Star Wars, we see a ship get hit and bursts into flame and all that kind of stuff, right? We understand there's some suspension of disbelief. But here's the question I have for Eli and everybody else who wants to complain about the fire in space thing. How come you're not complaining about the fact that ships are making sound in outer space? Nobody's crying and complaining about that, right? Like, if you're going to complain that there can't be fire in space because there's no oxygen, then why are you not complaining in every single Star Wars movie that ships make sound when they go by? Just thought I'd point that out. But at any rate, this whole idea that there's one ship shows up together, they arrest her, and all of a sudden there's two different ships. One's only halfway back. The other one's already arrived. I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. That was a little bit weird to me. Anyway. So then you got this little Ugnaught looking guy. I know he wasn't an Ugnaught, but he kind of looked a little bit like an Ugnaught. Like a little bit of a cross between an Ugnaught and Lando Calrissian's right-hand guy on Bespin. You know, the guy with the AirPod Maxes on. So this little Ugnaught looking guy with the AirPod Maxes is in the prison ship. Okay. Why would you have a techno being like that guy who can just manipulate technology and turn off and why would you have a prison ship that is only manned by droids? Why would they have a prison ship that's only manned by droids? And on that prison ship is a techno dude who apparently can just turn off droids. The Jedi did not really think this through. So that was another kind of thing. Also, this bothered me a lot. The Jedi show up. Again, these are little nitpick details. Okay, I have these for every movie, so relax. But I'm saying the Jedi show up and they're on this Trade Federation ship in the middle of space and they ask Osha, where were you yesterday? And she says, I was right here. That's a pretty solid alibi. I mean, I'm not a practicing lawyer right now or anything, but Considering she's on this Trade Federation ship in the middle of nowhere with sensors and cameras and everything around, when they ask her, where were you yesterday? By the way, in the Star Wars universe, even in hyperspace, it can take days to travel between points. Where were you yesterday? I was right here. Seems like that's a pretty easy thing to confirm. And then they bring in the guys like, that's her. Okay. But she has an alibi. She was here. She had no way off the ship. She's out here floating around in the middle of space. She was here. Seems like a pretty solid alibi. So they arrest her anyway. Okay. You're under arrest. Granted, they had an eyewitness. I get that. And maybe it would have come up at her trial. Okay, maybe. But still, that bothered me a little bit. So off they go. Anyway, there's a bunch of little things like that throughout the shows that I think probably many of you will bring up. Okay, and by all means, bring some up if you catch any of that. And again, those things did not ruin the show for me, right? These are little kind of logic nitpicks that I have about a lot of different types of shows. It's like, how come that happened? Anyway, and I'm sure there's some more that I'm just not thinking of right now. But anyway, let's do the important thing here now, shall we, guys? Let's get into the full open spoiler discussion, and we'll do so at your behest, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take just a quick second here as we get started by thanking the sponsor of today's video, my mobile service provider, and they should be yours, Mint Mobile. We want to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. My favorite spring cleaning takeaway is the post-clean clarity you get. Wow, how have I been living like this? It's kind of like when you find out that you've been paying a fortune for wireless when Mint Mobile has phone plans for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. My last mobile service provider was quite good, but ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've enjoyed even better coverage, better phone clarity, and I'm paying less than a third of what I paid to my old provider. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions may apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring today's episode. By the way, I do just want to touch on this one quick because somebody brought this up, and I had a discussion with this with somebody else earlier. But Seconds from Disaster says, John, how about the prison ship crashing to the planet from space and she survived? Star Wars has done that before, right? Even in one of those garbage prequel movies. Remember Anakin and Obi-Wan, they're on the big capital ship and it comes crashing down and all that kind of stuff. Star Wars has done that before. I give that a pass because I would assume these giant and, massively technology advanced ships, they probably have some kind of built-in safety features that when they are crashing, there are things that will try to slow the crash or stabilize the crash or something along those lines. So I give that a pass in something like this. All right. Let's get over to your questions here, shall we? Your questions, thoughts, and observations. We're going to start things off. By the way, earlier on today's show, I don't know if we shouted him out, but the Batman sent in a couple of support chat badges for $20 and for $4 just to be supportive. Thank you, the Batman. Appreciate that, dude. All right. Curtis Lopez writes, how does it make sense to put a prisoner who can hack? I was just saying this. How does it make sense to put a prisoner who can hack into droids on a ship piloted by droids? Hey, we've got this prisoner here, Aquaman. Okay, how should we take him back to the prison? Should we put him in this dry, rusty metal ship? Or should we put him in the aquarium ship with all this water? Put him in the aquarium ship. I'm sure nothing can go wrong. Yeah, that was dumb. That was dumb. And by the way, how has that ship already got a bunch of prisoners on it? Like, was that ship with prisoners just kind of cruising around outer space, just waiting to see if any other Jedi's called to see if you got a prisoner for pickup? Just going to hang out here, That was kind of weird. Anyway, okay, next up. Zach Kaplan writes, so 2 Jedi Masters can't reach a young Sith Acolyte after she simply makes a Force dust cloud. It's writing like this that personally takes me out of it. I'm going to push back on that, Zach. I'm going to push back on that. Because Batman does it all the time, and none of us complain. Like, Batman can be being pursued by 30 cops and surrounded by 30 trained professional law enforcement officers. And Batman takes a little smoke bomb and goes, pooh! Oh no, where did Batman go? And don't get me wrong, I'm not mocking it. I love it. It's part of Batman. I love it. But you don't get to complain about an evil Force user being able to create a much bigger impact zone that completely blinds out just 2 Jedi. It's not like she's surrounded by 8 Jedi and she's able to disappear. It's a lot easier to get away than it is to catch someone. It's a lot easier to get away than it is to catch someone. So I have no problem with that. Again, if you've got a problem with that, then you got to have a problem with Batman, because like Batman does it all the time and nobody's complained about it. So she sees an opportunity, takes away everybody's visibility and uses the opportunity to slip away in the night. I listen, with all the nitpicks I have about this show, that's not really a problem. That part of it isn't a problem at all. All right. Next up, we got Sanchez Guy, who writes, hey, John, great news. Brand new title for the upcoming Wallace and Gromit. We're not really here to talk about, sorry, Sanchez, we're here to focus on Star Wars: The Acolyte. Tim writes, enjoyed the show and interested in where this ends. Yeah, look, again, I really enjoyed aspects of the show so far. It has potential. Like with all these nitpicks that I'm harping on about, I don't want to create the impression that, oh, this show sucks. It doesn't. It definitely has some things going for it that gives it potential to get quite good. It also comes along with some red flags that hint that it could go the way of Obi-Wan, which gets quite bad. So I am still engaged. As of right now, I'm still engaged. There's enough potential there that makes me think this could get good. And if you're already really liking what you're seeing, that's awesome. That's great. I'm not there yet myself because there's too many red flags and a few things, but there is definitely potential there. Lee Jang-jae as Soul is fantastic. I like the murder mystery aspect. I think it's causing a lot of really good questions. What happened on May's world? What did these 4 Jedi do? Who is the Sith Lord behind this? You know, how did May survive? There's a lot of big questions asking. It's doing that really well. So I think there's still potential. We'll see how it turns out. All right. Next up, we've got Big Cookie, who writes, I like the premiere, but the polarizing discourse around it makes me feel like this is why we can't have nice things. Peace is a lie in Star Wars fandom. Yeah, listen, because there, unfortunately, as big of a Star Wars fan as I am, there is no more cancerous, toxic cesspool than Star Wars fandom. I mean, and I hate saying that as a Star Wars fan, but it's true. Somebody else was pointing out that the Rotten Tomato audience meter score and I don't know why Rotten Tomatoes made this available before the show even dropped, but before the show even dropped was flooded with negative reviews, like flooded with one star reviews before the show even aired. That's kind of just a thing about where our Star Wars fandom is. And listen, you know me, like I said, I have disliked 80% of the last 5 seasons of Star Wars stuff we've got. Other than Andor, we've had Boba Fett, we've had Mandalorian season 3, we had Obi-Wan, and we had Ahsoka. And I don't think any of those were good. So I say this as somebody who's a little pessimistic about the state of Star Wars, particularly when it comes to stuff on Disney Plus. But the fact is, we do live in a fandom right now where you saw it. There were thousands of people just waiting to review, bomb, and flood a thing that they hadn't even seen yet. And that's unfortunately the place where we're at. And I'm not defending the Acolyte because, like I said, to me, I'm still on the fence. It has some promise, but it also has some red flags. But it is unfortunate that there is, I say this very confidently right now, there is no worse fandom anywhere than Star Wars fandom today. You got a lot of problem in the video game spaces. There, you got a lot of problem in a lot of other things. But it hurts me to say it because I'm a Star Wars fan, but there is no worse fandom than Star Wars fandom. There's no worse place. It's the most awful, awful, awful place that a lot of people have brought their political agendas into. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. All right. But I'm glad you like the premiere, Big Cookie. I think it has potential. I think it has potential. All right. Cody Carroll writes, I'm shocked that they are twins and have the same hairstyle. Most twins try to look different than each other. Wish one had long hair, maybe. I have only in my life known 3 sets of twins. In my entire life, I've known 3 sets of twins. All of them looked identical. I'm not saying that I know 50 sets of twins, but like the 3 sets of twins I've known in my life, 2 sets were guys, 1 set were girls. They all looked identical. They didn't always dress the same, don't get me wrong, but they all looked identical. And at least when I knew them, all had the same hairstyles. But, they did have slightly different hair. Plus, the way the hair was, that could be a part of her culture or her background or the planet that she comes from and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really confused or worried about that. All right. Next up, we've got, that was Carol Cody. Next, we got Alex Von Gollum, who writes, to me, Lee Jung-jae is the show's MVP. I 100% agree with you. Soul's arc is quite interesting. His performance is great, letting you feel what the character is going through. I agree. And you know what makes it, I mentioned this on the show earlier today, what makes it even more impressive is that this is his first ever English speaking role. This is his first time ever trying to portray a character in English. And I thought he emoted beautifully. I thought you could feel the nature of the character. To me, he was a nice mixture of a Qui-Gon Jinn and an Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's supposed to be the classic Jedi, right? And I think he's done it great. So amidst all the things that I have problems with and worries about with the Acolyte, I think one of the big shining positives of the show is definitely him. I think he's been doing a great job so far. All right. Next up, we've got Zach Kaplan, who writes, I thought Acolyte should be the point of view of Sith/Darkside users, but it's not. It's about Jedi hunting a mysterious Sith. It's a wasted opportunity to me. Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. For years that I've been excited about this show, I thought that's what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a show that was telling it from the Acolyte's point of view, right? Now, that being said, I have seen and you have seen many shows where the perspective character or the characters whose point of view the story is being told from has changed from one character to another. It is possible that once we get past the first 2, maybe 3 episodes, the vantage point of the storytelling could divert over to May, to the Acolyte. Maybe yes, maybe no. But here's the thing. It's okay to speculate and even hope for what a certain story will be. But then once the movie or TV show comes, you got to put that away and just watch it on its own terms and watch it and evaluate it on its own merits. Have I been looking forward to a show being told from the perspective of a Darkside user? Yes. But it's not that so far. Okay, that's fine. Show me what you got. And it's important to leave your own baggage that we bring along and just put that aside and then judge the show on its own merits. And that's an important thing to do. But I'm with you. That's kind of the show I've been looking forward to as well for the last couple of years. All right. Next up. Let's see. Alex Von Gollum writes, Hope the narrative device of May not being able to use weapons per her master pays off. Showing the threat level coming from them shakes the Jedi Order. Okay, listen. I am actually fascinated to understand why she can't use weapons to try to kill Jedi who she is clearly outclassed by. Right? Like, when she's fighting Jedi Master Indara, clearly she is not in Jedi Master Indara's league. She's a great fighter, but she's not in Jedi Master Indara's league, right? Jedi Master Indara was handling her fairly easily. And I think if the lightsabers came out, I think May would be dead pretty quick. Same thing with Jedi Master Soul. When she tries to fight Jedi Master Soul, she is clearly out of her depth. She is not in Jedi Master Soul's league. So I am curious, is this some kind of ancient Sith ritual? Or like, is this a rule of two thing that, you have to have one master, one apprentice, and for this Acolyte to truly become an apprentice, that he's got his own set of trials for her, like wipe out those 4 Jedi without using a lightsaber or weapons or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but I got to admit, I am very interested in finding out what is the motivation of that. Why can't she use a weapon? Why is it important? And I'm looking forward to finding it. And I hope it's not for something stupid, like, just because I want to see if you could do it. No, I mean, if it's a part of a trial or something like that, then I'll be on board with it. So let's see what that is. But I am curious about it. All right. Let's see. Drew Gretsch writes, I love the show so far. To me, it feels more like Star Wars than anything since Rogue One. To me, it has all the potential. It has all the potential Andor, my number one show, did. Listen, I agree that it absolutely has potential. And this is one good thing I'll say about it too. I had the same feeling, and many of you won't be able to relate with this. That's cool. But when I watched Rebels for the first time, the first couple of episodes of Rebels, I really do like that show a lot, by the way. I had this feeling, because you guys know I'm a tabletop role player game, right? Like a role game player. I love playing role-playing games, particularly like Dungeons and Dragons, but especially Star Wars, the role-playing game. I love playing the West End Games D6 system of the Star Wars role-playing game. Love it, love it, love it. And when I watched the first few episodes of Rebels, it felt to me like I was watching a live action. It was animated, but so you know what I'm saying. A live action, a living out manifestation of a story of a Star Wars role-playing game being played out. And that really clicked with me. And despite the issues that I had and the problems that I have and the red flags that I have with this show, one of the things that I'll say for it is that I kind of had that same feeling. Like, I'm not saying the first 2 episodes of Acolyte are as good as the first couple of episodes of Rebels. That's not what I'm saying. But I will say that it kind of gave me that same feeling, that I felt like I was watching a role-playing game. Like if I was playing a tabletop role-playing game with people and this is the story that was going on, what was happening on screen is probably what would have been in my head. So I will say that for it. And yeah, listen, I'm thrilled that you liked it. I'm thrilled that you loved it. I hope that the upcoming episodes can get me there too. I hope it does. And it's got the potential to. So let's see. All right. Thanks for that, Drew. Next up, we've got Harvs K, who writes, I don't feel it's beneath Star Wars if a Star Wars TV show looks more TV than film, unless it's too CW-ish. As long as it's a good story, is told with characters you're invested in. So far, this one has that potential. I agree it has that potential. Here's where it becomes problematic, though. Like, if you were to tell, and I wish Star Wars would do more of this, if you were to tell, let's say, I'm just pulling something random out here, guys. Okay, don't get your knickers in a twist. If you were to say to do a rom-com in the Star Wars universe, right? And I'm not saying they should, just follow me. If they were going to do a rom-com in the Star Wars universe, then it should feel smaller scale. It should feel more limited in scope, right? The classic long time ago in a galaxy far, far away of a boy meets girl, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy wins girl back sort of thing. You do that sort of thing, then that would feel right to be smaller scale, to be a little more polished, to not feel as epic or grand, to feel more like TV, right? That would work. But when you're telling a story of Jedi and Sith and a galactic thing that we go to like 5 or 6 different planets, and you're doing all of that kind of scale. And when we see we are accustomed to, when we see Star Wars stories like that, we're accustomed to seeing the movies. Grand scale, feel epic in scope, right? If House of the Dragon, which is a totally different kind of show, I know, I'm just saying, if House of the Dragon can make itself feel grand and epic and large in scope, like worldwide drama going on in scope, then a Star Wars show about a mystery involving Jedi and Sith that spans like 5 different planets just in the first 2 episodes. If House of the Dragon can feel grand and epic in scale, then a Star Wars show should be able to do that as well. A Star Wars show should absolutely be able to do that as well. If you're telling a smaller scale story, it can get away with it. That's fine. But yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, Harv's K. But your point is well made, and other people have shared that same point of view as well. So you're not alone in that, my friend. All right, next up. Christopher Brickner writes, 1 of 2. Rotten Tomatoes scoring for its TV is flawed. Guys, we're not here to talk about Rotten Tomatoes. We're here to talk about the Acolyte. It's flawed as the percentage rating of 10 is the average between the season and the average from all the episodes. Problem is, when the Acolyte episode 1 of 2 have 9 and 8, regarding views, all positive shoot up the average. Before episode 1 got 5 reviews to shoot up the average it had anyway. So Christopher is talking about, yeah, we've acknowledged that about a problem with, there's a lot of problems when it comes to Rotten Tomato ratings with audience scores and critic scores when it comes to TV, right? Critics are only being given 2, 3, or 4 episodes of a show to review, and then they're reviewing the show and putting up reviews for a show they haven't watched in its completeness yet. There's a lot of different flaws when it comes to the TV side. That's why I don't pay a lot of attention to the TV side when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes. All right. Next up, we've got Spacey Casey, who writes, hi, do you have any guesses as to who the actor is playing the Sith Lord? None. Even distorted, the voice sounds so familiar, but I can't place it, thanks. I think whoever it is, probably their voice doesn't sound anything like the voice we got from the character. I have 0 guesses. Now, as I go over to, let me bring this up here. As I go over to IMDb, I mean, we've got Jodie Turner-Smith, who's playing a character called Mother Anisea, who, maybe that's who it is, but I doubt it. Vernestra Roth, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling, though, it's not going to be anybody of note. I have a feeling it's not going to be anybody of note. Now, Knight Rider 21 is saying Manny Jacinto from The Good Place is going to be the Sith. That's possible. It's possible. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, they've certainly done stuff like that before. But I have a feeling it's going to end up being nobody that we know or recognize. So, again, I don't know that. I'm just guessing. So it's possible. All right. Next up, we got Paul Dean, who writes, I was really looking forward to this show, but I think I'm out now. Carrie-Anne Moss was great in it. Though, for all 3 minutes. And again, she will be in it again. Going back to this promo image that we talked about a few months ago that they publicly released. So we're going to get more Carrie-Anne Moss in this series. Of course, it'll be in flashback stuff, but there you have it. All right. Next up, we go to... That was Paul Dean. Christopher Brickner writes. Oh, we already had that. Paul Dean writes again. I did think the action was good too, though. Yeah, listen, I was just kind of wishing there would have been a little bit more. Now, I understand this is supposed to be a mystery. It's supposed to be a murder mystery thriller kind of thing. I get that. I do. But if you're showing all this action and fighting in your marketing, maybe you needed a little bit more. Still, the two main action set pieces, fantastic. I'll give it that. I'll give that to him. Absolutely fantastic. The fight with Carrie-Anne Moss, beautiful. The fight with Lee Jung-jae, absolutely phenomenal. I love seeing Jedi finally having to fight without their lightsabers, to see like them being well versed in actual full combat. I loved that part. Those parts. Loved those parts. You know, and that's part of the thing that makes me feel like the show has potential as they continue to move forward. But we'll see if they lean into it a little bit more. But it needs more than just good action. They got to shore that up with other good things as well too. All right, Raymond Verrata writes, "I'm bummed Adara died. Any odds Soul dies?" I don't think Soul dies in this. I remember that's the first thing that after Indara died, the next thought I had was that, oh my God, Soul's going to die too, because she's trying to kill all of them, right? So she's already killed 2. I got a feeling the Wookiee's going to be dead here pretty quick, and that'll only leave Soul. I'm guessing, and it's a pure subjective guess, but I am guessing that Soul survives. My guess is that Soul survives. We'll find out though. All right, next up, Christopher Brickner writes, "In the saga, Jedi/Sith survived lightsaber stabs, cut in half, and literal death for Sidious. And a tiny knife kills a High Republic Jedi. Wimps, just kidding." Yeah, I mean, I remember at first, like kind of like I rolled my eyes so hard in Ahsoka when Sabine gets run right through with a lightsaber. No problem, she's fine. Never mind that the lightsaber, even being inside of her for a split second, would completely boil all of her internal organs. Don't worry about it. She's fine. It's just a scratch. It's just a flesh wound. You haven't got any arms. It's just a flesh wound. Have at you. Anybody know the reference? I'll just keep an eye on the live chat, see if any know the reference. So when Indara went down, I remember thinking, come on, one little blade? Really? One little blade? And yes, many of you guys got it, Monty Python. Quest for the Holy Grail, the Black Knight. Indeed, it was the Black Knight. I thought, really? Just a little knife did it? Now, to their credit, once the camera panned back, it pretty clear, at least for human anatomy, that was right at her heart. And all you need is like that much to penetrate the aorta or the heart, and she would die. And like, all right, I'll let it go. Because when she first went down, I'm like, come on. When they show that because I thought it was just going to be like a little knife in her stomach. I'm like, come on. But it was right where the heart would be. I'm like, okay, I'll let that go. Although why that kills her and Sabine gets run through with a lightsaber inside her that's held there for a little bit and then pulled out, but she's fine. I don't know. That was kind of lame. But yes, I was fine with her dying there. But maybe she's not really dead. This is Star Wars. She is a Jedi. Maybe she's not dead. I'm not saying she's not. I'm just guessing. All right. Next up. Oh, wait. I gotta go out and refresh. Sorry. Give me a second. Going out to refresh. Give me one quick moment as I turn off the super chats, by the way, guys. Super chats are now turned off. Where did we leave off? We left off with... where are we at now? There's Christopher Brickner. Hold a second. I think the action was good, though. I'm bummed that she died. Stab. Okay, there we go. Now we're at Dildar the Glorious, who writes, "Feels like it's obvious May's master is behind what happened years ago and used Force illusions since everyone recalls the events differently. I don't believe that everybody is recalling events differently. I don't think that's what's happening here at all. I mean, I certainly didn't get the impression that what Indara remembered and what Master Soul remembered or anything like that was different. So there's that. But it could very well be that what happened to the sisters and their village and all that kind of stuff, that might have been the machinations of this Sith Lord, or not. The Sith Lord may have just come along and found a very angry, bitter, vengeful May. I mean, so, but it could be. I mean, that could be the direction that they go in. All right. Next up, we've got Seconds from Disaster, who wrote, this show was marketed as LGBTQ heavy. No, it was not. It was never marketed like that at all. I didn't see one thing in any of the marketing that even whiffed at that. What are you talking about? But I barely noticed. Do you think Disney alienates certain groups by announcing it instead of just casting the actors? The representation would still be there. I didn't see one single bit of that advertised. But I will say this. When you ask if it's going to alienate anybody, and again, for the record, I didn't see one single thing in the trailers, in the posters, in anything that announced any of that. So whatever. I will say this though. If you are somebody that it would alienate you to find out that one of the characters wasn't a traditional heterosexual character, if just finding out that a character is just there in the story and that turns you off, go fuck yourself. I don't want you. Like, go away. Not anything else, not like any kind of like propaganda or anything like that. It's just that they're there. Just that it's even being acknowledged that such people exist. If that's enough to turn somebody off, let them turn the fuck off. Who the fuck cares about idiots like that? I mean, seriously, who the fuck cares about idiots like that? It's like, wait a minute, you're acknowledging such people exist? How dare you, sir? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Anyway, but for the record, I didn't see anything in the marketing at all that even mention it once. So yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, okay, let's keep moving on here, shall we? Next up, that was Second Film Disaster. Empire Fan 1980 writes, what are the chances we see Yoda? Okay, one of my biggest criticisms of Star Wars over the past decade or so is that Star Wars has continuously shrunk the universe, because every time, remember, there is this saying that this is how you can tell how big or how small of a town you live in. Walk out your front door. How long does it take you to bump into somebody you actually know? Because if you live in a really big city, it could take you a while if you're out and about to run into somebody you know. But if every time you walk out your door, you're bumping into 4 or 5 people that you know, that's a pretty good sign you probably live in a very small town. And Star Wars has become more and more of a small town where like every single show they do, that's hyperbole, but you get the meaning. It feels like every time we go to Star Wars, there's got to be 18 different things we already recognize. Look, everybody, we're back on Tatooine. Ooh, remember the cantina? Look, guys, it's the cantina. Like, yeah, we get it. Like, we get it. It's a small world. So the first thought for me about the idea of Yoda popping up, I recoil. I go, oh, please don't have us come across Yoda. I love Yoda. Don't get me wrong. I love Master Yoda. I'm just saying, like, why do we have to keep running it? But I'll give it this. If we are in a scene that requires us to see the Jedi Council, this is only 100 years according to the opening titles, it is only 100 years before the events of, before the rising of the Empire. It would make logical sense that Yoda may be on the council already. Like, maybe not the head senior member of the council, but it would make sense for him to be on the council. So I normally don't like the idea that every time we go to Star Wars, we have to, despite how vast the universe is, we have to continuously run across characters we already know. I would give it a pass on this, because if it comes to the Jedi Council, Yoda would probably be there and it would make sense. So we'll see. We'll see. I think there's probably a good 50-50 chance we see Yoda in it, in the context of the Jedi Council. So we'll find out for sure, though. All right. Next up, we've got Sam Fisher writes, I keep waiting for OSHA to write someone up for a workplace violation, but nothing. I'm sure that is a joke that a lot of people are getting and is just going over my head. That's probably a reference to something that's just going over my head. Sorry, Sam, but it's gone completely over my head. Everybody else in the live chat is saying they get it. I don't get it. What am I missing? A workplace violation. Oh, Chris Kloster is saying OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Oh my God, apparently that's a real thing. Sorry, we have something like that in Canada, but it's called something completely different. I had no idea that's what it was called here. I've never heard of that here before. Never heard of that here. So yes, you got me on that. That was totally something that went over my head. All right. Now I get it. That's actually pretty funny, Sam. All right. Next up. Nico writes, decent. I like Soul as a character. Thought the ending of episode 1 was pretty cheesy. Hey, let me stand here on these rocks and ignite my red lightsaber for no reason. Gave me Maul at the end of Solo vibes. Yeah, but here's the thing. Sith like their image. Sith like their image. Like, hey, just in case you forget, I'm menacing. Grr, look at my red lightsaber. You're right. Popping the lightsaber was kind of pointless. He wasn't about to fight. I don't know, unless he was about to fight her. Like, unless every time she sees, kind of like Pink Panther a little bit, like every time she sees her master, they've got to fight. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But yes, that did seem a little bit out of it. Mike Dude saying Sith being edgy. Just them Sith always thinking they got to be edgelords. Always got to be dramatic. All right. Next up, we've got Murray Reich, who writes, I'm curious to know why some critics saw 2 or 4 episodes. I probably would have rather all 4 so I can get a better perspective. By Andor, they gave us the first 3 to 4 in one shot and was fleshed out. You know, I brought that up myself, Murray. When the first reactions came out, I was perplexed to see that some of the reactors had seen 4 episodes. I think most of them did, but there were a number of the reactors who had only seen 2. And I don't recall that ever happening before. I don't recall that ever happening before. So why did some get 4? Maybe it was just an administrative mistake. Maybe it was just a technical glitch that some people got sent the links to the first 4. Some people got sent links to just the first 2. I don't know if it was a mistake. Mistakes happen, so maybe that was it. But yeah, I remember to myself as well. I thought that was a little bit weird. So anyway, yeah, like there were people who saw the first 2 episodes at some public screenings, but these were people who actually got review links, and some only got 2 and some others got 4. And I don't know why that happened. I mean, listen, it doesn't affect the show. It doesn't affect my experience watching the show, but I did find that a little bit perplexing about why that happened. Anyway, let's see. Next up, we've got Rafe from State Farm writes, overall, I was interested, but not loving it. Lee Jung-jae carries the show definitely, 100% agree. But why kill off Carrie-Anne Moss right away, though? Well, remember, they didn't kill off Carrie-Anne Moss. This is important for people to understand. Because I remember I had this discussion with somebody late last night who's like, that's so dumb. Why would you Carrie-Anne Moss just to kill her off? They didn't kill off Carrie-Anne Moss. Indara, long before Carrie-Anne Moss was cast in the role, in the script, there's a character that dies in the first act. Jedi Master Indara. And that's the story. There's a Jedi Master named Indara that becomes our first glimpse into this mystery of there's this character going around trying to kill Jedi. And it was a character named Indara. It was not Carrie-Anne Moss. It was Indara. Now, after the script was written, they were looking for somebody to play it. And Carrie-Anne Moss said, I would like to play that character. Okay. I mean, the character dies in the first act. Cool. What you do not do is go, well, now that Carrie-Anne Moss is playing it, let's change the script. You don't do that. You don't do that. That's a recipe for a disaster, right? So don't forget, it's not like they started off with, well, we got Carrie-Anne Moss. Now let's write the script and let's kill her off in the first act. That's not what happened. What happened was they wrote the script, they had the character, this character dies in the first act, and then later they cast it and Carrie-Anne Moss wanted to play it. So yeah, you don't change the story just because you got a certain actress to play the role. I am still looking forward to seeing more Carrie-Anne Moss though in the series once we start getting into the flashbacks. All right. But I 100% agree with you, Rafe. I think Lee is carrying this show so far. He, to me, is the pillar that's holding this show up. I'm really enjoying him. And again, I think our May Osha characters are really interesting too. I'm invested. I'm invested in those characters. I want to see what happens. There is potential here. There's also potential for disaster. And so we'll see how it goes. All right. Next up, CJ Rebirth writes, Sol, Osha, and Jecki are my favorite characters so far. Yeah, you know, I'm glad you brought up Jecki because we haven't talked much about Daphne Keene. I like Daphne Keene's character. She hasn't had a lot to do so far, but she seems like a Padawan who's earnest to learn, wants to grow up sort of thing. I like the character so far. So I like her. That's one. I'll add that to another one of my check marks of things that I do like about the show. I dig it. I dig her. I'm glad you brought her up because I failed to do so. Thank you, CJ. All right, next up. Jason Bronson writes, how have the escaped prisoners already been recaptured and back on Coruscant after the ship crashes and then the Jedi show up right after she wakes up? Osha must have been unconscious for days. It's little timing things like that sometimes irk me a bit, but I suppose there is a logical explanation. Like, for instance, those guys got in an escape pod. That escape pod then shot out. And who knows how far it went, and then it got picked up, brought them back to Coruscant, found it. So, I mean, I guess there could be a way to explain it. I guess there could be. But, I mean, it's like timing issues in television shows and movies do sometimes irk me. Like I mentioned at the beginning, like, wait a minute. The Jedi showed up in one ship to the Trade Federation ship, arrested Osha, and then all of a sudden the Jedi are back on Coruscant while Osha is on a prisoner transport that crashes. How does the timing of that work? Anyway, so I agree with you, but depending on where they were and the nature of the escape pod, maybe they can come up with a way to excuse it or explain it away. Maybe, I guess. All right. James Germain writes, no fire in space. Hi, I'm the sun. Yeah. And listen, If you're going to have a problem with fire in space, then you first have to have a problem with sound in space. Also, and give me a moment here to see if I can bring this up. I'm going to see if I can find this. Yes. Okay. There we go. If you are going to have a problem with fire in space, then you're going to kind of have a problem with this as well. Let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, there we go. Fire in space. I mean, the whole thrusters, right? Look, again, you do not get to complain about, hey, this isn't how the rules of the physical world work in outer space, if you're going to give a pass to the same other things that don't work according to us. Like if you want to get rid of the classic sound of the TIE fighter, like everybody loves that sound. It's my favorite sound in Star Wars other than the lightsaber sound. It's the greatest sound in sci-fi movies, but it's not possible. There is no sound in space. There is no air in space to carry sound. There would not be a sound. That ship would not be making sound. When you hear, the Millennium Falcon's laser cannons, choo, 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 no sound in space. So I get it. You're right. But we can't complain about that unless we also complain and start demanding that Lucasfilm have no sounds in outer space, because they go hand in hand, right? They kind of go hand in hand. All right. Next up. And the sun is a little bit of a different thing. I mean, the sun's a different thing a bit, but your point is well made. All right. Let's see. Sanchez guy writes, John, I'm sorry for writing something different. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But very considerate of you to write that anyway, Sanchez. All right. Pukey McFisty. I forgot about that. Pukey McFisty writes, I'm not very impressed with the show yet, but I have a feeling that the guy helping the Acolyte is the main baddie. You are the second person to suggest that. Hope I'm wrong. It's too obvious. I think once we get a closer look at this villain, this Sith Lord, we will get a better sense about whether or not it's actually Manny because of his physical size. Now, I don't know yet because we just saw him standing at a distance on a rock, right? We have nothing for perspective to give us an idea about how truly big or small he is. So it's difficult. Maybe once we get a good look at him in perspective, like standing next to a Wookiee or standing next to a speeder or something, maybe then we'll give a better, clearer idea about whether that's him. But you're right, it could be. It could be. You're the second person to kind of bring it up, Pukey. All right, next up. And this is our last super chat question. Brent Flint writes, could the guy who made the poison for May be the Sith Lord? It is possible. He seemed very sketchy until the Jedi came to question him. Yes, so it could be. Could be. But here's the one thing I will say against it, and I don't know this for sure. The way they spoke to each other, like May and Manny, I got the impression they have both been in their master's presence at the same time. There was nothing definitive in the show to say that. Let me be clear. I understand that. But I'm just saying the impression I got was that the two of them have been in their presence, in the master's presence at the same time. I might be right. I might be wrong about that completely. I'm saying that was the impression I had. So we will find out. All right. Guys, we still got a little bit of time. We've hit the 1 hour mark, but we're going to take a little bit more time here. And I'm going to take some questions from you guys in the live chat. I will not take all of them. I'll pick and choose which ones I'm taking. But take a look in the live chat right now. If you have a question, start your question off. If you see in the live chat what I just put up there, start off your question like that. Put in capital letters, question, colon. That way I know you're asking me a question. It's not just a random chat in there. Let's see. Quick is asking, thoughts on Yord so far? You know what? It kept bothering me because I kept thinking, what is Mario Van Peebles' son doing in this, right? But then I remember, it's like, why does he look so familiar? He was in Russian Dolls. Totally forgot about that. I like him so far. He's an interesting character. He's a little bit different. He's a newly minted knight. I'm kind of liking him so far. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. Dat Dude Vince says, do you think the Master could be Plagueis? It could be. I'm not saying I believe it is, but it could be. That is definitely a possibility. Let's see. Do you think Jedi Master Squid Game is up to something? No, I don't. I think he is our traditional classic Jedi Knight. So I don't think we're going to get any twists when it comes to Grandmaster Soul, but we'll find out. I just called him Grandmaster Soul. Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Soul. Let's see. Sir Malcolm says, thoughts on the $180 million budget? It's actually more of a reasonable one. When you're talking 8 episodes, I mean, it's not like, say, some shows that have like $100 million an episode. It's not like the season costs like $500 million like a Rings of Power did or something like that. $180 million budget on an 8-episode show. So roughly about 4 hours. So that would mean if it was a movie, it would be about a $90 million, like two $90 million budget 2-hour movies. It's a little high, but it's not unreasonable, I don't think, for something like this. Let's see. Kyle writes, what do you think of the costumes, like the various Jedi robes? I'll say this about them. They certainly didn't bother me. I thought they looked pretty standard. Definitely didn't bother me or stand out. They also didn't stand out going, wow, that Jedi outfit's amazing. But I think they worked. Let's see. John AM says, did you like the Pip droid? No, I did not. Came across to me, and maybe this is unfair, but came across to me as a desperate attempt to sell more toys. Jordan says, thoughts on Amanda's performance? I liked it. I like it so far, both as May and as Osha so far. But yeah, I like her performance. Not as good as, like, say, Lee's or something like that, but I think she's done well so far. Let's see. Where are we going? Brennan Price writes, thoughts on Indara being the master? She's not the master. She's just a master. Anyway, could that be the reason you bring in someone like Carrie-Anne Moss? Well, she's not the master. She is Jedi Master Indara. So I don't think she's the head of the Jedi Council or anything like that. So I don't think that's there. Let's see. Question. What did you think of the score? Very reminiscent to me of the prequel score. But John, you hate the prequels. I do, but the score in the prequels is actually not bad. So it felt kind of, I didn't pay a lot of close attention to it, but the score felt kind of reminiscent of the prequel things, and that fit for me. Let's see. Question. Can you try to explain a pocket-sized droid, but 100 years later, we only large droids like R2-D2? Well, because R2-D2 is an astromech droid that can do a lot more and has a lot more tools available to it. Like an R2 unit is a much more capable, much more handy, much more versatile droid than, say, what Pip would be. I'm sure Pip has its uses. I'm sure Pip can do a few things, but if you want a full-blown astromech droid, then what you need is an R2 unit. So that's what I would think about that at any rate. Let's see. Luis writes, Star Wars should it be more adult orientated in their content? I think they should have some stuff like Andor that is more adult orientated in its content. Like, Star Wars has always been a family, not a kids, but a family kind of space adventure kind of stuff, right? But it's been around for over 40 years. So you can diversify it a bit. That's why I loved Andor so much, because finally, like, Star Wars for grown-ups. Star Wars for adults, like for people who've grown up. Like I like that a lot, but I think it should always have its roots in a family space adventure kind of storytelling, but they should dabble it in with things like Andor and stuff like that. So I don't think it's an either or. I think it can be a both and. Let's see. A Silver writes, why did Yord have to have his shirt off in that scene? Well, he didn't have to. He was getting changed. They happened to walk in, and they used that as an opportunity to show kind of not the chemistry is not the right word, the dynamic, like the kind of dynamic and relationship that him and the Daphne Keene character has. Like Daphne Keene just finds that, even though she's just a Padawan, she finds him kind of ridiculous and all that kind of stuff. So he didn't have to have a shirt off, but it worked in the scene. He was getting changed. They walked in and they used that as an opportunity to kind of set up the dynamic between the characters. So with all the problems I had with her, that certainly wasn't one of the problems, I don't think. Let's see. This is an interesting one. Aiden Foley is writing, do you think it's plausible that Osha and May are actually the same person, but with split personality? Could also have the power of splitting bodies too, since Revan had that power as well. No, I don't think that's the case. Now, because again, you had them, both of them are in two different places at one time. One is on has been on a Trade Federation ship for a while. The other's been out there training. So it's not like it's a Luke Skywalker thing where momentarily they're, so I don't think it would make much sense for that to be the case. So it's an interesting theory. I like that you're thinking that way, but I don't think that that's plausible here. Let's see. Paul Hitchcock writes, do you think that the event that happened 16 years ago will come down to a misunderstanding that got out of hand? No. You could be right. You could be right. But I think something bad happened. Something bad happened. Something so bad that a Jedi Master, by the way, that ridiculous looking Jedi Master that was floating and meditating, do you know that comes right from the comic books? It starts with a B, but it's right out of the Star Wars comic books. I think the Darth Vader comic book, where like a Jedi who's like seeking repentance or something goes into this meditative state for a long period of time, just trying to engulf themselves in the Force, like seeking like redemption and stuff. So that was actually kind of a deep cut and kind of cool, but I don't think it's going to be that it was just out of a misunderstanding. Let's see. Sorry, just going through the questions, trying to find one that we can answer. Yamil Diaz writes, could Osha become the Acolyte by the end? I'll tell you what, I don't mind me a bit of a tragic ending. I don't mind the idea of a bit of a tragic ending. I mean, it would kind of like be an Anakin kind of ending, but like at the end of the day, like May dies, but Osha takes her place as the new apprentice. Maybe that's, I gotta tell you, I don't hate that idea. I do not hate that idea. That one's not bad. So I'll give that a 20% chance, but I'd be okay with it if they did that. Let's see. Aries writes, do you think that we will be having flashbacks to the night of the incident or have ancient Sith references? Well, again, according to this promo image that they put out a number of months ago, clearly we are going to get flashback images, like our scenes. We are clearly going to get flashback scenes. 100% that's going to happen. Ancient Sith references, probably. I mean, at some point they'll have to probably come up when they understand once they figure out what's going on. Let's see here. Norman P just sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, Norman P. Let's see. M. Joseph writes, did the Jedi start the fire that separated the twins? I don't think so, because, I mean, as far as Jedi Master Soul remembers it, May started the fires. Now, I understand The meditating Jedi said, we thought we were doing the right thing. Of that, I have no doubt. But in what circumstance would Jedi feel that the right thing, the good thing to do here is to burn this village down? So I'm going to guess no. But they also may have done something that inadvertently led May to starting the fires. Again, there's so much we still need to know. There's so much we still need to know. So we'll have to just kind of find out. Let's see. Joe Howland writes, do you think we will see Darth Maul or Lord Sidious? No, I don't think they're alive at this point. I mean, I don't know 100% sure how old Sidious is supposed to be, but this is like 100 years before the events of The Phantom Menace. So I'm going to guess he's not alive yet. So I'm going to guess no. Just a guess, but I'm going to guess no. Let's see. Paul Hitchcock writes, do you think we could see the seasons change titles to a show character progression? Example, season 1, The Acolyte, season 2, The Apprentice, season 3, The Master. If it gets out of season 1, I mean, if this show actually goes beyond one season, they could do that. Like season 1, The Acolyte, season 2, The Apprentice, season 3, The Master. I like that idea. I don't know if they've thought that far ahead, but if they did, that's not a bad idea. Let's see. Logan writes, will Master Soul die since he's been marked as one of the 4 targets of May's revenge? I don't think so. I don't think May is ultimately going to accomplish her full goal here. That's just a guess. Could be totally wrong about that, right? We'll find out. But my guess is, and it's only a guess, I don't believe that Master Soul dies in this. He could, but I'm guessing he doesn't. We'll find out. All right. Time for like 2 more. Let's see here. Joel Howland is saying, do you think it will get better? That's the $1 million question right now. And because listen, after watching one episode of Obi-Wan, I thought we were in for an awesome show. I loved the first episode of Obi-Wan. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great start. Unfortunately, it then kind of went to crap. There were still some things in it along the way, like particularly the big final fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. Excellent fight. Loved the scene. I thought that scene was great, but it was just a scene. It was just one scene. Right now, I think this show has potential. After the first 2 episodes, there's enough good things there that it has the potential to get quite good. Unfortunately, right now, after just 2 episodes, there's also a number of red flags that suggest to me it could also get worse. And the problem is I have not liked 4 out of the last 5 seasons of Star Wars television. Right? And so that leaves me, sadly and unfortunately, in a little bit of a skeptical place. I'm pessimistic. I'm a little not overly pessimistic, but I'm a little bit pessimistic because I haven't liked 4 out of the last 5 seasons. Talking about the 1 season of Boba Fett, 1 season of Ahsoka, 1 season of Obi-Wan, and the 3rd season of Mandalorian. I haven't liked them. So my belief that it can get better is a little hampered, but there is potential there. Like I said, there's a number of very, very strong elements to the show so far. So I'm not willing to make a prediction right now about whether it gets better or worse. Because it's got the potential to get really bad. It's got the potential to get quite strong. We'll have to wait and see. I really don't know yet at this point, unfortunately. Good question, though. All right. Last question of the day. Quick writes, do you think the episodes packed enough punch given the runtime? No. And I think that is a weakness of the runtime, not just of this show, but of like most Disney Plus shows, particularly when it comes to Marvel and Star Wars. Andor was fantastic, and because it did it differently. But these 28, 32, whatever minute running episodes, they are not done well. They're not done well. Lucasfilm clearly does not know how to make a series. What they are really doing is making things that should have been tighter, shorter movies and instead kind of trying to stretch them out and then chopping them up very awkwardly in these weirdly paced shows. And that's not just been a problem with The Acolyte. That's a problem with almost every almost every Marvel show and every Star Wars show. That's been a problem with a lot of them. And I really don't think they're handling it well. I don't. But, you know, we'll kind of see. Anyway, guys, that will do it for this installment of our Star Wars The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2, open spoiler discussion. Leave your thoughts down below. Do you see the positives? Do you see there being potential? Do you see the negatives? Do you see there being some negative potential moving forward? Whatever you guys think, let me know down below. We will definitely do an episode 3 after show next week. And then however good or bad that show is will determine if we keep doing after shows for The Acolyte. Because if episode 3 is really bad, I think I'm going to tap out. But we will definitely at least do 3. So make sure you guys come on back and join me for that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here. By the way, I just want to point this out again because we mentioned this earlier. 47% audience score. But remember, there were thousands of negative 1-star like negative votes cast before the show even aired. So that don't pay any attention to whatever the audience score is on Rotten Tomatoes for a TV show, because they have no way to verify that somebody voting actually saw the show. And there were thousands of votes cast before the show even aired. So don't pay any attention to that. It means less than nothing. So that doesn't mean 47% is right where I would put it, by the way, personally, but it still means nothing. So we'll see. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me. Come on back and join us for the John Campea Show again tomorrow. We'll talk to you later. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.